back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We've been telling positive stories around here a long time, even way back when sports was like a thing and Maryland was going to win a national championship and all that stuff before the pandemic. And I've had this story in my life going on for about 6 years because my wife was battling in 2014, and every time I saw Jen Strong, I saw zacking against cancer, and all my Maryland friends and everybody that's connected to the University of Maryland, and my pal Bino Ranson, who I coached when he was a lad, a part of all of that. And the Zacking Against Cancer Foundation, it's zackingagainstcancer.org, has come to me. My friend Christy Halford said, "Hey, you've never had Julia Lederer on to talk about zacking against cancer." And I'm like, I've heard a lot about zacking against cancer. I know I've come in contact with some folks in the Lederer family through the years, and obviously a lot of folks, including Johnny Holiday and Chris Nocky and all the Terps friends that I have down at College Park have told me. But I have not had the privilege of having Julia Lederer on. This is the first time we're going to have her on. She is involved in her brother's legacy and the marketing and development coordinator at the Zacking Against Cancer Foundation. I wish I could see you and hug you, at a Maryland game, or lacrosse would be going on right now or whatever, but we're going to do the 6-foot social distancing thing here and tell everybody what you all have put together here with Centennial and Mount Hebron that's come to my desk to tell something good we're doing here in the middle of this pandemic, obviously, that was born of something tragic. Julia, good day to you. I'm having some Royal Farms coffee here out of my cold roofing mug on day whatever it is of the pandemic, and I think about my wife's survival and what you've gone through. Just first and foremost, a real tribute to your brother and to your family to carry on his legacy and to be doing great things to save lives. So good day to you. I'm a big fan of what you do.
Thank you very much. I guess we'll just get right into it, and I'll tell you a little bit about Zach's story.
Sure.
Zach was diagnosed when he was 10 with brain cancer, and the doctors told my parents to take him home and make him comfortable, that there was nothing that they could do. So Ben Carson got a hold of the story, and he decided that he wanted to operate on Zach. And at that point, my parents had nothing to lose. So, of course, and it's Ben Carson. So Ben Carson operated, and he got most of the tumor out. And then with some radiation and chemo, the tumor had disappeared, and he was all good. That was a few years later. And then he moved on to high school. He played football for the Centennial Eagles his senior year. He graduated, and he went to University of Maryland, College Park, where he became the men's basketball manager. And he was sitting in class one day, I think it was his sophomore year. He was sitting in class, and his arm got numb in his finger, so he called my parents and told them, and next thing you know, he was in the emergency room, and the tumor was back. So Zach went into surgery for the second time, and within 2 hours out, he got up and he made the zacking pose. And for those of you that don't know what it is, you hold your arms up and flex. And he told my dad to take his picture. And my dad relented, and he said, "Zach, there's blood on your head. Let's do this later." And he said, "No, take my picture." So he did, and soon enough later, he put it on Facebook and just wanted to let his friends and family know that he's okay. And my cousins got a hold of the picture, and they put up a picture of them zacking, and they said T-bowing is out and zacking is in.
Well, I remember this time, because I'm a Ravens guy right up here in Baltimore, and obviously in the middle of basketball season in January 12, and that was the year that Billy Cundiff missed a kick. We won the Super Bowl the next year, and I remember, our station at NST and various Maryland members, and Jimmy Patsos was. We just had so many Maryland people around to support your brother, and obviously in the world of social media. Wherever I am in Baltimore sports, it was a viral sensation. I mean, it literally was. Everyone knew about your brother.
Yes.
How old were you at that point? This is 8 years ago, right?
Yes, I think I was a senior in high school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it went viral, and it was really crazy to watch. And next thing you know, a T-shirt company, Nightmare Graphics, reached out to us, and they wanted to make T-shirts. And Zach was like, okay. And then next thing you know, they had given him all of the funding, and they told him, like, hey, look, go to Disney World, go do whatever you want with this money. But what Zach noticed in the hospital was that not everybody was as fortunate as he was. So he was going home in a nice warm car after chemo, and the girl that was sitting next to him is now sitting at the bus stop in the rain waiting for the bus. And that really bothered him. So Zach actually took that money and he started the Zacking Against Cancer Foundation. He picked his board. He started the first golf outing. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2014, but we've been carrying it on ever since, and it's grown substantially.
Well, in what you're doing now at Centennial and Mount Hebron, everyone's displaced, right? I mean, in the aftermath of this, you've created this incredible army over the last 6 years at zackingagainstcancer.org, and you're activating people. I mean, obviously, people are home right now. Anybody can zack. It's easy to do, right? And but for what's going on with the pandemic, and we had Howard County Executive Calvin Ball on a couple months ago in Baltimore Positive. We talked to him about all that's going on there, and I know there's a lot of displacement of high schools, and there was controversy. While the world has really stopped in the last 5-6 weeks here, and proms have stopped, sports seasons have stopped, the Terps have stopped, the Orioles have stopped, Ravens are going to stop. They just don't know it yet. But you guys have sort of put this thing together here with your group, and it came to me about a week ago. Give everybody what's going on, because there's a GoFundMe, there's a Facebook, all this stuff's going on, and they can learn more. But give me the last month and trying to use this period of time to not only honor your brother, but also to save more lives.
Right. So actually, it was only a week ago.
They're all running together.
Yeah. The head coach from Hebron reached out to us, and they are actually missing their Fight for Five tournament, which they have every year, which is in honor of Evan Nicholson, who used to go to Hebron, and he was a lacrosse player there. And unfortunately, just like Zach, he lost his battle at the age of 20 to cancer. So they have this big tournament every year in honor of Evan. And to replace that, they wanted the boys to be able to still suit up. You know, this is a hard time for seniors right now. It's that they can't play in their final tournaments. They can't go to prom, just like you said. So what they did was they challenged Centennial, because Evan and Zach are very similar, and not to mention Hebron and Centennial are the biggest rivals. But
I remember that. I made lifelong friends covering Howard County sports in the late 1980s. So you were shocked that I knew that Centennial was the Eagles, and it just sort of rolled off my tongue. But, I covered many a softball game and many a girls' basketball game down in Howard County back in the late 80s. I know that dates me a little bit. It was 8 years before you were born. But they haven't changed the team nicknames there yet.
No, not.
But there are
yet.
places you guys play that did not exist when I Quince Orchard's one of those places, right? That's a school. That's a real place. I think it is. No, what are the names? There's a whole bunch of schools in Howard County that did not exist. 3 or 4 that I don't know their team
There's
nicknames.
Definitely Marriott's Ridge.
Yeah, what is Marriott's Ridge?
Ones.
Okay, so what are they? The Fighting? What are they? We know. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Don't worry.
Oh no, they're the Mustangs.
The Mustangs. See, I wouldn't have known that because I don't know Marriott's Ridge High School. Yeah, I'm gonna Google map that, and I'll tell you how much the world has changed in 32 years in Howard County. But Centennial and Mount Hebron, one thing it's never changed. They don't like each other, right? So that's good.
Right.
That's good. It's the way it should be. It's the way Dundalk and Patapsco are. That's where I'm from. So.
Yeah. Right. So Hebron and Centennial are now challenging each other to see who can get the most people to suit up, and not only for their lacrosse games, but also for prom, dance recitals, anything that they've missed. And then they go onto the GoFundMe page and they pick Hebron or Centennial, which side they're on, and they donate. So they're seeing who can raise the most money for Zacking Against Cancer.
All right, I figured out the schools that didn't exist, and I was wrong about Quince Orchard. Apologies to them. I probably lost a track meet to them back in the day. River Hill was the school that did not exist, and Reservoir High. I'm looking here at the Marriott's Ridge. Now, see, Glenelg was always there. Centennial, Howard. There's a Long Reach High School. Wow, that didn't exist. There's a Tubman High School. No, that didn't exist. So I'm trying to learn all the Wild Lake existed, Oakland Mills existed, Centennial, Howard, Athelton. I think there were 8 then. So I don't know them all, but I know that they're all closely aligned, and I think this is a tough time for everybody. Tell me from a foundation standpoint. I mean, you guys are always doing stuff, and it's always around sports and around people gathering. I'm sure this has wiped out some plans you had for the spring and the summer, right?
Definitely, yes. We have our largest event in April that actually takes place right on the court of University of Maryland Xfinity Center, and we've now had to push that back, which, it's our largest funding event, so that was kind of shocking to us at first, and kind of how are we gonna get back from this? And we need the funding right now is so important to ensure that we're able to fulfill all the requests for the support of our patients and caregivers. So this Suit Up Challenge came in perfect timing, and it's really given us a cushion.
Well, tell us what you do. If someone gives to you, they give $100, they give $50, they buy a ticket. I look up here, and hopefully we can get back to living the dream galas and golf outings and running festivals and all the things you do. You do bingo? We'll talk about that later. But
we do bingo, yes.
All right, so when I come to bingo, my wife's been trying to drag me to bingo. Joey, did I explain to you I'm from Dundalk? I mean, Dundalk and bingo are, it's kind of like Maryland and crabs, So, I mean, I had a juicer. We did it all, right? So, but when we give the money, where does it go? What are you doing on a daily basis here to help patients?
Yeah, so 90% of our funds go directly to the patient. We have a program called the Little Things Program, which Carol Flock, our patient coordinator, runs, and we're partnered with 24 hospitals. 22 of them are in Maryland, one's in Boston, and one's in Florida. And in those 24 hospitals, this Little Things program is run. And we'll do anything for these patients. We're not black and white. So it could be anything from paying rent to paying for their car bill, for putting tires on their car so that they can get to and from treatment, to sending the caregivers out to get their nails done, to get their hair done. We'll do absolutely anything for these patients. And so that's where 90% of our funds go. The remaining 10% goes towards research. And then we give six high school scholarships out to seniors, all in Maryland. And they go out to people who have been either directly affected by cancer themselves or they've been a caregiver. So we give out 2,500 scholarships. And so they go to the scholarships, research, and then to our patient programs, which in those 24 hospitals, we also have massage therapy and we provide music.
Julia Lederer is our guest. She is with a great foundation locally. You probably have heard about it if you've been involved in sports here at all. ZackingAgainstCancer.org. The Little Things program funds services such as prescription payment assistance, medical, dental bills, rent payments, utility bill assistance, transportation, child care, health insurance, house cleaning, entertainment, meals, groceries, gift cards. It is the little things. And, my wife's a two-time survivor. We were very fortunate in regard to her care at Hopkins and living downtown and being 1.6 miles away. My wife spent 155 nights in the hospital. It was 154 nights that I drove home alone without her. I can't imagine if I had a 16-year-old daughter at home or a 12-year-old son at home or 3 dogs that needed to get let out and all the other things that go on in life that we saw in the hospital from all of these little things that you're talking about, Julia. So we personally did not we luckily were not affected by a lot of this stuff, but we saw people around us who were. And to know that there are people out there still doing this work, we work with There Goes My Hero as well, and people that are inspired. My inspiration is in using my kingdom of WNST to have folks like you on to tell your story and hopefully raise awareness and get you guys back where you need to be in the aftermath of all this pandemic stuff. Who's the first person you're going to hug, Julia? Where have you been, give me your personal story. Where have you been, cooped up here the last month? All of us have been, right?
Yeah, so I'm cooped up in Columbia with my fiance in our little apartment. So
you haven't hugged
really
your parents in a month. Is that true?
Our relationship.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's like, and I've been asking people, you're gonna hug your mom or your dad first. You're gonna hug your brother, or your sister. You're gonna, all of this stuff because we can't even fist bump like our friends. Like it's crazy, and I think all of us that have been cooped up a little bit, we've thrown ourselves into our work a little bit more. And I know from Zacking Against Cancer, I know it's a passion project for you and everything that you do. What's first thing you're gonna do once we can actually touch each other? What's the first thing that goes back into making an event happen for you all sometime in the summer?
So we'll go right into our golf outing. Hopefully we'll be able to have that in June. We're still waiting to, see where all of this goes. So hopefully we'll be diving right into the golf outing.
All right, so the golf outing's when, allegedly?
It's June 24th.
Oh, end of the month. All right, well, that's going to happen. Golf is the one thing we've had a heck of an argument about around here. Like golf is pretty individual. Like, you could do it, right? I mean, touching the ball maybe or wherever, clubhouse or whatever. But it almost feels like golf would be the one sport, the one first thing that could come back. So I am holding out hope for you on this, and I am saving the date here. The Zacking Golf outing is Monday, June 22nd. It's at Turf Valley, Howard County there, right?
June 22nd. Yes, I had the wrong date.
No, it's all right. I'm reading from the website, so it's all good.
Yep, it's at Turf Valley Golf Resort.
Howard County's finest, right?
Yep.
There you go. Well, Julia, tell everybody how to find you, email, phone number. Obviously, we can find you at zackingagainstcancer.org, but if they need to find you personally, what's the best way to reach to you in the middle of a pandemic since they can't come have a coffee with you?
Yes, you can email me at julia@zackingagainstcancer.org.
All right. I stay out of the Hebron Centennial thing, going back 30 years. Girls basketball, I got in the middle and between the coaches, and I found myself in trouble. So I'm going to stay out of it, and I'm going to be right down the middle and say everybody should support Zacking Against Cancer. How about that, all right?
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to Zach for the road for you. There she goes, Julia Lederer. I found her out on LinkedIn. I didn't even give her a hard time back going to Mount St. Mary's and that great barbecue I had out there a couple months ago when I was driving the road on the way out to do all the things I can't do anymore. I was at Hershey Park that day. I saw Hootie and the Blowfish at Hershey. I had barbecue at this great place near Emmitsburg. Hold on. Before I go to break, I am going to absolutely plug the barbecue place that I found in Emmitsburg because it was really, really good. And I want to, oh, wow. They gotta be. It's still gotta be there. It had a funny name. How do you put barbecue with a funny name into a Google map near Emmitsburg? I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna get this into the segment because in the old days we would have like a hold on here. I'd have some stupid map and I wouldn't be able to find it. If I don't find the funny name of the barbecue place outside of Emmitsburg, Chubby's. That's it. I found it. Chubby's Barbecue. I don't know if they're still open, but if they are, get me some of that sauce to go and deliver it 6 feet away with a mask on, please. And a bowl of chili, please. Nasty at WNST.net finds me, the buyatoyota.com audio vault with all sorts of stories of inspiration, perspiration, isolation, quarantination, and all the things we're doing right now to stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay safe. We are WNST.net, AM 1570. We used to do Baltimore sports, but instead we're keeping calm, staying local, and staying Baltimore positive.